Hello, welcome to a game between NEXSickness and a Korean Zerg player. NEXSickness will be playing as the blue Protoss player at the upper right hand corner, whereas the other guy will be playing as the red Zerg at the lower left hand corner. This is GG your face, and the map is going to be Xel'Naga Caverns. And if someone knows who this guy is, or if he has an English name, please let me know so I can put it in the description so we can recognize him for his work. And it looks like NEXSickness will be scouting with a probe inside his base. He has put down a pylon at the top of his ramp, but he's not yet decided to put the forge or the gateway, so he's going to wait to see what his opponent is going to do. He is going to swoop in here. He will see that his opponent is going to be putting down the spawning pool at around 13 population, and NEXSickness has not yet. Ooh, it looks like he will be putting down a forge. The cannon rush at the very early stage of the game by the ramp is very common on the Korean servers, not as common on the North American servers, and this is one very good strategy for Protoss to use against the Zerg, because it makes it very difficult for the Zerg to get out of their base, because two pylons at the bottom of the ramp right over here will be able to make a full wall off, so he cannot have Zerglings or drones run out this way or this way. It looks like the Zerg player will be bringing out 3 drones as these two pylons are being opened, and no drones are on the extractor at the moment, so he's not getting any gas income. Both these players are focusing only on minerals at the moment, and NEXSickness will probably be putting down a cannon very soon. And ooh, this cannon is placed out of the range of the pylon that's going to stay alive, so this cannon will actually be unpowered as some of these Zerglings are on the way. This is a very tense moment, as one spine crawler is correctly being put on the high ground. The spine crawler will be able to get rid of these two pylons very easily, but if he were to put some pylons behind these cannons, he might be in trouble, as the first Zergs are coming out here. The Zerglings are getting a nice surround, and looks like the Zerglings are going to back off. I don't think that was a wise choice, and NEXSickness will be able to put a pylon back where it was originally. He does cancel it. He will put down a cannon. He does go in, and it looks like, ooh, I think he accidentally went in, or he wanted to see what was going on inside the base. There's a spine crawler. This spine crawler will be able to take down these two cannons, no problem. So I think he does realize that he is going to move a cannon to the back. That's a lot of canceling, but not so much of the cost. He has managed to contain the Zerg at the moment, and the Zerg is getting gas now, whereas the Protoss player is still focusing on those minerals. And he also has a very nice wall off at the front with forge and a gateway, and there's going to be a cannon coming online. This is a very delayed cannon, but I think he will be able to make it, and this cannon is going to come in time. This pylon is going down very close to death, and he's going to start shooting. We'll be able to save this pylon momentarily, and he does take it down himself, and he's going to be making a new pylon. A very good idea. Meanwhile, on the base of the Zerg, he is making a lot more drones and roaches. Roaches what you need, because roaches do have the range, and the probe does run up and will die. He needed to scout to see what's happening inside his opponent's base, and he probably wants to put some pylons behind, because he will lose these pylons, because the pylons are within range of the spine crawler. In the meantime, in the base of his opponent, NEXSickness, he will be putting down a cybernetics core as well, so he is going to keep on maintaining this cannon pressure, and it looks like there is going to be a second hatchery. The Zerg player knows he needs to make more units, because he will not be able to break this cannon container as easily. He does put a spine crawler. The spine crawler should be within range of these pylons, might be able to take it down. As more cannons are being warped in, a pylon is being warped in at the back. It's exactly what he needs, because even if he loses these two pylons, he still will be able to power these 3 cannons with the one pylon in the back. A very good idea from the Protoss player, and the Zerg player looks like he will be momentarily getting his second hatchery online. He does have an overlord. He does know his opponent does not yet have an expansion, and the spine crawler is picking away very slowly at the pylons. And it's still alright for NEXSickness, because he does have the pylons in the back. He might be thinking about running the probe up there, and it looks like he will be making it inside, and I think that will be it. He does have some information, but I don't know if he's seen too much of his opponent's base. He actually does not yet see the hatchery that is up there. He does know the roach warren from a previous scouting encounter, so the army size at 42 to 34 at the moment. The units, only one of them is an offensive unit for NEXSickness. Well, actually, it's more of a defensive unit, as it's probably positioned near his base, and it is going to be coming across the map momentarily to possibly force field. He does have an income advantage over the Zerg player, but it's a very slight income advantage. He really needs to get additional units out, because the Zerg will be able to break free momentarily if he wants to, and he does have the 1 sentry running across the map. Will be coming to this pylon along with 3 cannons, so the Zerg player is trying to break free. He will be getting the Gliru Constitution, which is an upgrade for the Zerg speed. and additional units are arriving at the moment. So if we take a look at the unit counting station, there's going to be 2 of these sentries. Sentries are very, very good if they are able to cut off the Zergs from coming out. That would be a huge help for the Protoss player, and it looks like the Zerg player is going to make a lot more of those roaches. One probe is going to run up to see what kind of situation is inside the base of the Zerg player, and the Zerg player is very tense. He does have 2 queens. He is mining full minerals and full gas. And the Zerglings come out, and NEXSickness is revealing his hand, letting his opponent know that anything that comes out will get cut off. And at the same time, he is opening up a lot of gateways. He does have 5 gateways in his base, and an Overseer does spot all of it, so he does know his opponent will be warping in units very, very shortly. And the great thing about the Protoss brace is you can warp in units inside these pylons, and a great cutoff there for this sentry. And the sentry is going to engage the roach, and the roach is not actually engaging back, and the sentry should probably run away. And another force field goes on top of the previous force field containing the Zerg player. And the Zerg player really needs to find a way out of this. NEXSickness is going to try to snipe off these roaches at the bottom with his stalkers. And another force field goes off, selecting only about 4 or 5 of those roaches engaging. This is a very good set of usage of the sentries by NEXSickness. It is absolutely sick. And this one cannon is still shooting the roach that was on hold position at the top of the ramp. The army size does show that both players are about the same at this moment, 63 to 61. And he does have a lot of roaches, but he has no way to get him out of the base, and he is making more and more roaches, and one Zealot will run up the ramp to get vision of what's going on inside the base, and he will not see too much. He will see a lot of roaches, which is what his opponent has, and the +1 is being researched at the moment by NEXSickness, and he is still containing the Zerg very successfully with the 3 cannons and 2 pylons in the back. It was just absolutely brilliant play from him very, very early, and his opponent does have an Overseer and an Overlord over here, so he does have vision, and ooh, look, a Nidus network is going to go up for his opponent, and that is exactly what he needs to get out of this mess. He can completely not deal with this mess right here, and that is 3 cannons and 2 pylons. He does not want to fight, and that's a lot of forces that can keep on cutting him off, and it looks like he will be cementing his side of the battle as well. He will put down some spine crawlers, and this Nidus network is about to finish, and there's going to be 1 probe here. He has an observer in the back, so the observer has not yet seen the Nidus network. The network is going to finish momentarily, and his opponent NEXSickness is going to be making an Immortal. Immortals are very, very good against roaches. They do extra damage to armor, and they only take 10 damage when their shields are still not depleted. And the Observer is going to come over here. He has not yet loaded the Nidus network, and the Observer will be able to spot or not spot. The Observer does spot the Nidus network, so he does know something is coming. So he has been making a Warp Prism. That Warp Prism will allow him to either warp in units or do something very funky. And the Nidus Worm has reeled his head on the other side of the map, and it's loading up a lot of those roaches. Roaches are being loaded up into the Nidus Worm, and the Nidus Worm are going to pop at any moment. And at the same time, some sentries are being warped in here. That is just perfect play, knowing exactly when his opponent is going to come. He does have a Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism will not be able to get shot at by these roaches, because roaches can only hit ground, even though they do have missile attacks. And he's going to drop and pick off, and drop and pick off. Very good play here from NEXSickness, and he's at the ramp, and he does force field the ramp. He does have, looks like 3 sentries, and the sentries will be able to do a lot of good with the force field, and he will continuously force field that ramp, and his opponent will not be able to get in. Some more Zealots are being warped in at the moment, and the Roach is realizing he can't get into the base, and he can't leave his own base either, is forced to retreat. He probably wants to get a sandwich on this set of units here, and hopefully he will be able to take it out. The Nidus network is not being loaded. He's making a lot more Zerglings at the moment. This is really, really good, and the Roaches are regenerating a little bit of their HP, as we might see a huge battle take place here, and he does suspect a huge battle coming, so he does force field. He knows it's coming, and there's 1 probe at the back, probably checking where the roaches are, and he will be able to find the roaches are directly on the other side. These sentries are very full of energy. He can continuously force field that one side, prevent any unit from coming that side. That is really, really good play. The army size is at 100 to 97. A lot of roaches, 29 roaches versus some Immortals, 8 Stalkers, and about 9 or so sentries, but some of the units are still at home, and it looks like he's going to come in here. He needs the force field. He puts down very good force fields, cutting about half the force, maintaining this force field on the left-hand side. He will be able to take down a lot of these roaches, and he's dropping and picking up these Immortals. Just absolutely critical play, just like the Reaver and the Shuttle from Starcraft 1. Just absolutely brilliant. And the Zerglings are still stuck inside the base, and it looks like this Warp Prism will be harassing these roaches. He's dropping one, picking one up, dropping one, picking one up, and they can't do anything against this Warp Prism. This is just really good play from NEXSickness, and the Zerg player is trying to deal with it, and he can probably drop one more time, and he does drop. That is just so nice. Great play. And looks like he's trying to get out here. And look at these two very defensive force field and one force field here preventing the surround. His cannon's about to go down. The cannons do go down. And units are being warped in, and the force field goes up once again, and the Immortals are coming in at the back, and the Roaches are fighting it out with the Stalkers, and the Sentry's not really focus firing anything, and he has some Zealots on the ground fighting these Roaches right in front of their face, and the two Immortals are still alive. The Immortal will make a huge difference for this battle, as he is able to keep the contain. He does manage to keep the pylons alive, and he is able to contain the Zerg to only one base, and he does further force field to allow him to have time to regenerate his shields. And wow, that is really exciting. The Zerg player is in a bit of a pickle here, as he's still contained inside of his own base. He can't really leave, as there's one observer over here. He can't really have anything to shoot it down. He does not have the Overseer over here. He does have the Overseer on the other side, whereas the Protoss player has expanded to that base. And looks like the Queen will try to come over here and take down that War Prism. The War Prism does still have two of those Immortals inside. You gotta be really careful with the War Prism. He does not want to lose that heavy and precious cargo. And more Roaches are coming here, and he's dropping them on the side, trying to snipe away the Spine Crawler. And will he? Ooh, the Spine Crawler goes down. The Roaches want to come out, but then he realizes he cannot come out because of the force field. And they do all manage but one to come out. And now they're getting focus fire down by the Zealots and Immortals. These two Immortals have 7 kills and 6 kills. That is a lot of kills for the Immortal. And the Zealots are being picked up as well. Great micro from NEXSickness, and I think he will be able to contain the Zerg inside his own base once again. The army size is at 42 against 87, advantage for the Protoss player, as he is going to be on the second gas, and he's dropping off and picking up the Immortals, and the Immortals are taking a shot at the Spine Crawlers, and the Immortals are still alive. Both Immortals very much alive. They are regenerating their shield inside the War Prism, and he takes down that Spine Crawler as well. And the Roaches are focus firing on the Zealot. Will be able to take it down, but I think the Zerg player still cannot leave his base, and I think he might be pushing in here with the Immortals, and he's dropping the Immortals, picking them up. This is so awesome. This is exactly like the Shuttle and the Reaver in Starcraft 1, and he's dropping and picking them off, and he has no answer for this air, and now he looks like he will be finally pick off that War Prism, but it might be a little too late, as NEXSickness is moving inside the base, and he has nothing to defend. And he does say WW, which I can only assume is Whirlwind from the Barbarian and Diablo 2. If you guys enjoy that match, please do subscribe to me at youtube.com/GGFace. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next game. Whoa, that was so exciting.